Hi, and welcome back to the Mom and Brews podcast. I am your host and mom friend, Brittany Barbour. So today we're a little more quiet. I am currently recording at 9 o'clock at night. My daughter just went down for bed, so we are going to secretly record. But she'll be fine, for real. I don't think anything about it. And before we get into today's topics, I'm going to go ahead and tell you what I'm sipping on. It is a Malibu Splash Strawberry and Coconut. Beautiful can. These are probably, I guess you would consider it more of like a sparkling malt beverage, but it is so good. I mean, who doesn't love Malibu? Don't answer that because I could probably answer that for you. But with that being said, it is probably one of the best drinks that I can have right now. I'm not too keen on the harder, Mike's Harder or Smirnoff and stuff like that. I don't really care for those. Or White Claws, Trulies, those just don't have enough flavor. There is something about these that has so much flavor, and I literally can't figure it out. But besides that, today we're going to talk about the zoo. We're also going to talk about good reads, self-care, and essentially kind of get you up to date on what's going on in my life. Let me get in here. So, we went to the zoo for the first time on Sunday. I'm recording this on a Wednesday, so on Sunday. Went to the zoo for the first time ever. I have been wanting to take her to the zoo for the longest time. And I always had this inkling of if I take her too early, she's not going to appreciate it, or, she's just not going to remember, which, don't get me wrong, she may still not remember, but at least it's the memories for myself. And I'm trying to remember that a lot more now. Everybody kind of just says make the memories for you and your family. So you know what? That's what I'm doing. I'm taking that initiative. I am putting, the memories ahead of everything else. But we went to the zoo. Zoo closes at 5. We got there around 2:30, and it was packed. I understand that kids aren't in school on Sundays and stuff, but tell me why I was expecting it to be more busy on Saturday than it was on a Sunday. But regardless, we still went, and we had the most fun, honestly. All the animals were out, besides maybe one or two smaller animals that were at the vet, or they were redoing their habitats and stuff like that. But we got to see lions, we got to see snakes. I don't like snakes. What else? We saw giraffes and an ostrich, and anybody who knows me knows that I absolutely love elephants. And we got to see all three kind of together, which the elephant enclosure is probably one of the biggest ones at the zoo. And we saw all three of them kind of hanging out and everything, and we went and checked everything else out, the tortoise and stuff like that, your reptiles. And we looped back around to get to the other side, and as we were looping around, I saw people kind of gathering by this fence. And no joke, we walked up, this elephant was eating, but it was 6 feet away. 6 feet, bro. 6 feet. Oh my gosh, I wanted that so bad. I just wanted to pet it. I don't even know what an elephant feels like, but it just looks like it could be pet. Just saying. But so we got to really check that out, and my daughter had fun. She ran around. Obviously we got a little boo-boo because, a 1-year-old running around a zoo, that usually doesn't end in a good situation. But ice cream fixed that situation right on up. But yeah, we had so much fun. I didn't even care that she might not remember it during it, because at that point I was making so many memories of just appreciating the time together and really having fun and just letting her let loose, honestly. But, oh, also, so we got to the zoo. I probably should have stopped to get food, and I really didn't think anything about it. And I already knew like the food was going to be expensive. We got one chicken finger basket. It comes with like 3 chicken tenders, which big size chicken tenders, some French fries, another side of fries, goldfish for my daughter, and like banana pudding, and all of that was like $40. Who is out here charging these prices? And I know y'all gonna say inflation, but like, for food is crazy. But besides that, I mean, we had fun. We took her into the gift shop right before they closed, which I know, I worked in retail. I hate being that person. But I literally picked her up out the stroller, put her down. I said, go find what you want, baby. And she picked up a little stuffed otter and a stuffed cheetah. And at that point, like, you really don't care about price anymore. Like, you just want them to be happy. And I seriously want to be the mom that's like, okay, you want McDonald's? We've got McDonald's money. Like, come on. I'm never going to tell her, like, she can't have something. I mean, obviously, I will tell her, like, the important stuff. But, like, if we go to the grocery store and she wants a toy, like, I'm not going to argue about that. So, our AC just cut off. And it's so quiet. But, yeah, so she grabbed those 2 toys. We paid for them. We left. And I have this cutest picture. I might even slide it in here. Or you can check it out on the Mom and Brews Instagram at mom_and_brews. And, but it's the cutest little picture of her just holding her stuffed animals, just cheesing. So, yeah, I mean, the zoo was a lot of fun. I 100% think I'll go back. Honestly, they also have a membership thing. Might do that too. So on to the next topic, which is about good reads. So as a mom, and especially when I was unemployed, like, reading was a good way for me to relax, decompress after a tough day with my daughter. And I would literally just like download books and read. I think I finished this one series. I started it in January. It's a series of 12 books, so I was going to read one each month. And I ended up reading the entire series in 2 months. Yeah. I have nothing to complain about because I love the books. I've read them before. I never got to finish the series, and I finally got to finish the series this time. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you what it's called. It's called Calendar Girl. So it's literally 12 books. It's January, February, March, April, May, blah, blah, blah. Like, you get the gist. And essentially, it's this girl who's having some family issues, and she takes up this job. And the job is basically being an escort. And she has to go to a different client's house each month. And each book is about a different client. And there's romance, a little bit of smut involved. But it's such a good book. It's such a good read. I don't judge people for, like, the things that they do, but it puts, like, escort business into a different light. And yeah, like, I really, really enjoyed those books. I don't want to say too much because it'll give away the entire plot of the whole series. But most definitely one of my favorite reads. And there's also another series that I read. I'm trying to get them pulled up. There's another series that I had read on my phone. Please hold as I am trying to pull this up. But the other series I won't go too much into, but it's most definitely a series for, like, holiday season because it surrounds Christmas. And it's a series of 6 or 7 books, all by different authors, but it's so, so good. Closer to holiday season, I will go ahead and release those books. I'll give y'all the series so y'all can enjoy, but they are all filled with romance, very, very subtle romance, like just kissing max. But they are so freaking cute. And then the other ones that I read, so This one was a wild read. The author's name is Brittany Nicole. It's called Revenge Era. And this book is essentially like a singer who is very successful. She works for this company and is dating like the CEO's son, or like engaged or something. And essentially her and her boyfriend, fiance, I can't remember, break up, and the person that she gets with, scandalous. Like, what the heck? But it's so good. Like, I can't sit here and tell you how good it is because it literally ruins the book. But it's so funny in the way that like life kind of worked itself out for her. But the smut, ooh, give me some red hot chili peppers because it's spicy. There's like role play. I'm like, girl, you get it, sister. So this next book, it is called Does It Hurt? It is by H.D. Carlton. Yes, there are trigger warnings. There's most definitely one for essay, so if you're not comfortable with that, please do not read this book. But essentially it's a really good book. The main character moves from the US. She goes to a different country, and the way that she's kind of like living throughout that country is very confusing until you learn more about the whole story, because there is a lot of filler information. There's a lot of times where it just kind of stops and you're just like, what? Like, there's no explanation, kind of. So yeah, I mean, it's a really good read. I enjoy that book. But I was actually talking to a girl today, one of our friends, and she said that it's not worth the read. And I was like, you are crazy. Because H.D. Carlton is also known for Haunting Adelaide, or Adeline, something like that. And I haven't read that book. I read the trigger warnings in that book, and I read like the first page or the first chapter, and I was like, this book is not for me. So yeah, there's a few books that HD has written and they are beautifully made, but there's always trigger warnings in them. But this book I specifically really enjoyed. Could have done without all the additional filler information. Like, it could have been straightforward. But you know what? I think that's what made it a good read for me. Just kind of filling in, like, almost like a mystery is kind of how it felt. And I really like true crime stuff, or like mysteries, I guess. So I really enjoyed that book. And after that one, oopsies, did my password wrong. After that one, there is this book called Circum Infernum. It's by Ivana Diva. Yeah. It's a dark WLW romance. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all, I have no idea what that stands for. But that book was wild. I will go ahead and give you a trigger warning for it. Also, it's like not written in a way that you can like take multiple breaks. Like, the chapters kind of like run all together. I think the book itself was like 100 something to 200 something pages. And the book, I don't even know how to explain it. I can't even put it into words. I know it like mentions Lilith and it has like biblical relevations to it, but it's one of those ones that like really made my stomach upset. Like, just reading it, like, it really grossed me out, but it was so good. Like, I don't know if it's just like, the shock factor or what it is, but I really loved that book. Would I read it again? Probably not. I think it's a one and done book. It's out there, but I really did enjoy that one. I'm not gonna recommend for everybody. Pay attention to the trigger warnings in that one, but solid. And then this one was by one of the authors from the series, the holiday series that I will later mention. The author's name is Cindy Steele, and the book is called The One with the Kiss Cam. This one I will recommend if you really do love romance. It's pretty much just soft romance, kissing, maybe some hand holding, like nothing too exaggerated. But essentially it's this girl, she goes to a basketball game on what I think is a blind date or a date of some type. And she's, on this date, the dude is trash, and, there's another guy sitting on her opposite side. Things get a little flirty, and there's this entire night that happens. And yeah, the romance kind of just goes from there. It's a really cute book. There's not much to it. It's pretty simple, easy read, but a good read. It's a little cutesy. So then, this is where I get into my good stuff that I love. This one book was called His Girl Next Door. I have no idea who it's by. You can find it on Apple Books. I think it's on Kindle. You might not be able to find it on Kindle. I think that's why it was on Apple Books. But His Girl Next Door is essentially this girl who moves to, a whole different state from the West Coast, and, new state, new area, like she's not used to the culture, and her neighbor ends up being a cop, and her first night there, shit pretty much hits the fan. Like, it's a horrible night for her, and, cop's an asshole. Come to find out, the cop is her neighbor. We love that. But it's, I would say softcore porn, essentially. Like, it's not too aggressive, but it's aggressive in the sense of, like, getting the point across that it's like a romance, or there's something more romantic, like a smut. It's just all it is. But there's some hardcore things, but not in this book. But yeah, and cop ends up having a daughter, and the story's really cute. Actually, I really like that one. And the last one that I have read this year, mind you, all of these have been since January. There's been some other books that I read since November, but I'm not even telling y'all about those ones. But this one book, it's called Silent Vows, or The Silent Vow. It might be Silent Vows, if I'm not mistaken. And it's like a mafia book. Like, it's a mafia romance type thing. But it is dramatic. But I love it. It's essentially like this girl who's like in a family that's a part of a mafia, basically marrying her off into another family that's a part of a different mafia to essentially, add to the whole aspect of like making sure that we have strong connects. Like, you won't fight us, we won't fight you. We have like this connection here. But yeah, it's like a really strange outcome. Like, I've never understood like the whole aspect of mafias and stuff. Actually, I'm lying. I do understand the mafia. Like, I get it. Personally, don't think I could do it. Not gonna lie to you. But yeah, so romance is beautiful in that. Also smut. But the drama towards the end, oh baby, is it spicy. And from that book, there's also 2 books that break off, and it follows 2 couples that are a part of the series. Besides your main couple, it's 2 separate couples. So yeah, those are all the books that I've read. Those are my good reads. Highly recommend most of them, not all of them, and not for everybody. But besides that, we're gonna get into my self-care. If you can't tell, I've got a haircut and I'm obsessed. But I've got a haircut, just got my lashes did. And I'm to the point in my postpartum journey, which I don't think they consider you postpartum after like a year. but I'm to the point where I feel more like me. Like, don't get me wrong, I still have like my tie to my daughter, like mentally and emotionally, but I feel like I don't have to be so dependent on her, or like she doesn't have to be so dependent on me. Like, we're slowly stopping breastfeeding, and I will actually do an episode on that next week, more than likely. I don't know, don't hold me to that, but I'll do an episode on it soon. But, you know, slowly stopping breastfeeding. It's been 16 months almost, so I have nothing to complain about that. But not being at her beck and call every time that she's hungry, or, you know, just being there, like literally supervising her from the world, has made me so much more relaxed. I feel like I'm the fun mom, but I also feel like fun Brittany again. Like, I'm back to you know, hanging with my friends and my coworkers, and not like, when I'm out, I'm not literally sitting there stressed and like looking at the camera to make sure my daughter's asleep or stuff like that. Like, I'm slowly becoming more independent and me, and I have nothing to complain about with that. I truly enjoy this phase of parenthood for the sole fact of like gaining my independence. And I think that's something that we tend to forget as parents. It's like, we prioritize our kids, and don't get me wrong, like, we most definitely should prioritize our kids, but at the same time, especially like from a mom standpoint, like, you birthed that kid, like, you want to make sure they're safe, like everything's fine. But from a mom standpoint, that first year is like, if I'm not with my kid, at least for myself, if I'm not with my kid, I have no idea what to do. Like, I didn't know how to have conversations or anything, and I would like to say I'm a very social butterfly. So the fact that I'm feeling back to normal is nice. Do I think I still have some room to grow? Absolutely. But I will say, I have dropped, let's see, math-wise, 50 pounds since before getting pregnant and from pregnancy. From 39 weeks, I've dropped 50 pounds. From pre-pregnancy weight, I've dropped 20 pounds. Ooh, that is an awesome feeling. I am much more energetic. Like, I feel like I'm just me again. And what else can you ask for at this point? Like, there's not really much going on besides, you know, me working out, hanging out with my friends, hanging out at the house. You know, I'm prioritizing my health a lot more, and not so much in the sense of like trying to lose weight. Like, losing weight is a plus, but in the sense of like being able to sustain my energy and like run alongside my daughter. Like, that's my main goal, is just to keep up with her. So yeah, that's where I am. That's where we are now. And I hope to continue seeing progress in this situation. So what else is new? What's new with you? Matter of fact, don't forget to comment down below and tell me. But, also, I'll go ahead and link my Lash girl and my hair girl down in the comments. Y'all make sure y'all go check them out, check their pages out, like their pages, give them a shout out, you know. Stay in touch with them. They're really cool people. But with that being said, thank you for watching this episode, and I will see you next week. Make sure you follow along on this journey through Instagram and TikTok at moms_and_brews. Make sure you like and subscribe, leave that comment, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.